Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering woke airlines getting federal complaints for illegal hiring practices. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. From Bloomberg.com, Trump-aligned group's latest target is airline diversity efforts. American, United, Southwest, the latest to face civil complaint. America First Legal is alleging racial and sex discrimination. Also about America First Legal, America First Legal launches investigation into the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement of Title VII against corporations that use unlawful diversity, equity, and inclusion practices because they filed dozens of complaints against these corrupt companies abusing their power, utilizing illegal hiring practices, and America First Legal will push them to respond. Also from the Daily Caller, Biden FAA pushing diversity hiring as air traffic control system falls into total disarray. America First Legal, a conservative group aligned with former President Donald Trump, is targeting 3 of the country's biggest airlines as it ramps up its attacks on corporate diversity initiatives. And because of America First Legal and Edward Blum's organization and others, you can see from Bloomberg, corporate America is rethinking diversity hiring. Some companies are changing diversity programs under legal attack. Quote, major corporations think that it's okay to have goals for the demographic makeup of their workforces, with no self-awareness of the illegal practices that they will undoubtedly take to achieve those goals. According to Gene Hamilton, America First Legal's general counsel and vice president, who also said, when you board a plane, the last thing you care about is the skin color of the pilot and the crew on board. America First Legal, led by former Trump advisor Stephen Miller and Hamilton, a Justice Department official under that administration, ramped up its campaign against corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies after the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to remove race as a factor in college admissions in June. It filed similar complaints against more than 20 companies, including Nordstrom and Salesforce, and brought lawsuits against firms including Meta Platforms, as it seeks to establish itself as a leader in the growing conservative movement to use the courts to kneecap employment diversity programs. Only the illegal ones. If they're illegal, these guys are going after them. As well as its complaint to the EEOC, America First Legal sent letters to the boards of American, United, and Southwest claiming their programs are a waste of corporate assets. Each of the airlines has publicly disclosed their diversity in hiring programs. American in 2020 said it would enhance its recruitment of black professionals. United said it prioritized interviewing diverse candidates. And Southwest said it increased its racial and gender diversity. AFL's complaints don't focus on any particular individual that has claimed harm for the programs. And they don't need to do that when they file these complaints. That's different than a lawsuit. When you have a lawsuit, you need a specific person who's been injured by their illegal policies. When companies publish these programs publicly and say they're doing this, that immediately can get an EEOC complaint at the federal government. Representatives for America, United, and Southwest didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. They know what they've done is wrong. Conservative groups pushing companies over their racial diversity and inclusion programs have notched some early wins. Pfizer Incorporated and law firm Morris Forrester are among firms that have changed the language for the eligibility of their diversity programs to fend off these legal challenges. However, so far, the EEOC under Joe Biden hasn't shown interest in investigating similar reverse discrimination cases, and legal precedent for decades has allowed employers to seek to rectify historical racial inequities in hiring. So America First Legal is going after them. AFL launched a new investigation by filing a Freedom of Information Act request with the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC, to obtain communications and records related to the Commission's efforts to enforce Title VII against corporations using unlawful diversity, equity, and inclusion practices to discriminate against American workers. AFL has filed dozens of complaints with the EEOC against companies, including IBM, Macy's, Starbucks, Kellogg's, Activision, and Major League Baseball, for illegal race and sex-based discrimination that awards jobs, special benefits, bonuses, and other career opportunities to minorities while openly excluding white straight males. It appears from recent reports, however, that at least some of the EEOC would rather continue to support companies' diversity, equity, and inclusion discrimination programs than fulfill its mission of enforcing Title VII. Specifically, a recent story from Bloomberg Law News revealed that the Commissioner Kalpana Katagal, quote, has signaled that she is keen to collaborate with her two Democratic colleagues to provide more direction on and encouragement of diversity and inclusion efforts in U.S. workplaces. The article went on to quote Commissioner Katagal as saying that, quote, there are 3 commissioners who feel that DEIA programs' continued implementation in the workplace are important, and that you'll continue to hear more from me, from Vice Chair Samuels, and from the Chair on DEIA practices moving forward. Based on Commissioner Katagal's statements to Bloomberg Law News, it is apparent that some at the EEOC have no intention of focusing on fulfilling its mission of ending all discrimination in the workplace, but instead on finding a way to continue nodding to illegal diversity, equity, and inclusion discriminatory programs and brushing off the clear message from the Supreme Court that our civil rights laws codify a rule of individual equality without regard to race, color, sex, ethnicity, religion, or national origin. AFL is committed to ending the racist DEI agenda that has infected all sectors of corporate America. Further, if the federal government plays any role in propping up these illegal practices, AFL is determined to uncover the truth. It's definitely a fight with the federal government. The federal government really wants to try to push this on America as much as they can. It's a tremendous abuse of power. But fighting back can get results. We're already seeing some results. They just have to keep on fighting. Look at what they're saying over at the FAA about their diversity and inclusion. Diversity takes flight. Diversity is integral to achieving the FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel across our nation and beyond. How could someone's skin color or sexual preference or gender have anything to do with safe and efficient travel? Our inclusive culture is defined by our values, and we continuously seek employees from all backgrounds with distinctive ideas, perspective, insights, and talents. It would be good to just have people that are actually trained in operating properly and maintaining the aircraft. That's really all you have to focus on. You don't have to focus on skin color, sexual preference, gender, even religion. Not important when it comes to properly operating and maintaining airplanes. They go on. Because diversity is so critical, FAA actively supports and engages in a variety of associations, programs, coalitions, and initiatives to support and accommodate employees from diverse communities and backgrounds. Our people are our strength, and we take great care in investing in and valuing them as such. Okay, so a lot of nonsense from the FAA. This is what we're up against with these people. But it can get worse. From the Daily Caller, Biden FAA pushing diversity hiring as air traffic control system falls into total disarray. From the Daily Caller, Joe Biden's FAA is striving to enlist a diverse workforce through targeting certain demographics, even as its air traffic control system is facing shortages and safety challenges. The FAA has several diversity hiring initiatives, including for Black people, Hispanic people, disabled people, and women, according to its website. At the same time, air traffic control is experiencing numerous issues, including staffing shortages, mistakes, technological challenges, and close call incidents. Quote, we're certainly critical of the FAA's efforts in the past and in the present to rely on race as a factor in hiring air traffic controllers, says Mountain States Legal Foundation General Counsel William Trackman to the Daily Caller. Obviously, we are talking about a line of work where merit and the need for skill are a matter of life and death. No one cares about the race of the air traffic controller guiding in their flight. Quote, the FAA is working to create a robust pipeline of skilled and diverse professionals coming into the aviation workforce. An FAA spokesman told the Daily Caller, we implement annual hiring campaigns specifically for the #BATC campaign to inspire people to join the controller workforce. We also partner with organizations like Women in Aviation International, Dream Soar, and the National Air and Space Museum to provide unique learning opportunities to youth from diverse backgrounds. Mountain States Legal Foundation actually sued on behalf of plaintiff Andrew Brigida and over 2,000 other air traffic controller applicants who had test scores invalidated due to former President Barack Obama's 2015 FAA diversity policy intended to hire more minorities. The lawsuit became a class action lawsuit as of 2022. Our Brigida matter is a certified class action designed to deter the federal government from using diversity as an excuse for race discrimination. Trockman told the Daily Caller, "There is never a good time for the government to embark on any employment program where race matters. And it's especially obvious that the courts are willing to step in on these issues after the affirmative action cases this year. The Supreme Court effectively ruled that the use of affirmative action race-based admission policies in colleges is unconstitutional this past June. The FAA's Hispanic Employment Program includes establishing a strategy to provide input for agency-wide affirmative action plans, according to its website. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg has established a goal of hiring employees with severe disabilities at a rate of 3% per fiscal year, according to the FAA's People with Disabilities Program website. These disabilities include total deafness, blindness, missing limbs, paralysis, epilepsy, and dwarfism. Quote, "It's imperative that the FAA focus on safety rather than politics, and that's why we have to employ the most qualified people there," says Republican North Carolina Senator Ted Budd to the Daily Caller. The number one priority at the U.S. Department of Transportation is to look out for the safety of the traveling public. Unfortunately, on this issue, Secretary Buttigieg has been missing in action. When it comes to addressing the numerous transportation safety challenges facing our country, he has been derelict in his duty because his priorities are all wrong. The American people deserve better. Close calls for plane collisions have occurred multiple times per week in 2023 on average, according to the New York Times. The numerous near-miss incidents prompted the FAA to launch a call to action in February, according to the Washington Post. From the Washington Post, FAA launches safety call to action after recent airport near misses. No one has been hurt, but federal authorities are investigating an unusual cluster of airline incidents. The United States is facing a severe staffing shortage as 99% of its air traffic control facilities are operating with insufficient personnel, according to the New York Times. Air traffic controllers are fatigued, and some are self-medicating with alcohol and sleeping pills, leading to additional mistakes. The FAA has a page dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility, DEIA, on its website. Its DEIA strategy is designed to help recruit, retain, develop, and promote traditionally underrepresented groups, according to its website. Quote, "While most of America is in favor of fixing airline delays and cancellations, Biden and his Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, are focused on advancing racist and divisive DEI agendas, according to Republican Utah Representative Burgess Owens. With over 3,000 unfilled positions nationwide, we are experiencing a severe air traffic controller staffing crisis, which is affecting the reliability of air travel across the country. The FAA is hiring 1,500 new air traffic controllers in 2023 and 1,800 in 2024, according to Buttigieg. Hopefully, those people are going to be qualified. It does make you wonder. Quote, "The cult of diversity has become a death cult," Manhattan Institute fellow Heather McDonald told the Daily Caller. Quote, "The only consideration for hiring air traffic controllers and pilots should be their technical competence in flying and routing planes." The Senate Commerce Committee, which Budd serves on, is currently negotiating an FAA reauthorization bill to give the agency long-term funding. Quote, "Safety is the qualification, full stop," a Department of Transportation spokesperson told the Daily Caller. "Every FAA certified air traffic controller has gone through months of screening and training at an FAA academy, and that is before another 18 to 24 months of training to learn specific regions and airspaces. There is a well-known national shortage of air traffic controllers, and the FAA has ramped up outreach to ensure no talent is left on the table." In this article from the Daily Signal from 2018, you see the history of this problem with the federal government. The disastrous initiative to hire air traffic controllers based on diversity, not talent. From 5 years ago. In recent years, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, has also become consumed by diversity and inclusion. Prior to becoming so, the FAA worked with about 36 colleges to create the Air Traffic Collegiate Training Initiative. The colleges offer 2- and 4-year non-engineering aviation degrees requiring basic courses in air traffic control and aviation administration. Graduates of these programs became qualified candidates for training as air traffic control specialists. The FAA gave hiring preferences to veterans, those with program degrees, references from administrators, and high test scores. However, in 2013, Barack Obama appointed FAA Administrator Michael Huerta and deemed that these hiring standards had not produced a pleasing mix of air traffic controllers when it came to race and sex. He announced plans to, quote, transform the FAA into a more diverse and inclusive workplace that reflects, understands, and relates to the diverse customers it serves. The air traffic controllers, of course, are not actually relating to the customers. They're trying to keep the planes from crashing into each other. That's their main job. That, and to help the planes take off and land safely. The FAA discarded its longtime use of the difficult cognitive assessment test and implemented instead a new unmonitored take-home personality test, a biographical questionnaire. Among the questions asked are, quote, the number of high school sports I participated in was, how would you describe your ideal job? What has been the major cause of your failures? More classmates would remember me as humble or dominant. In other words, the FAA opened air traffic control training to off-the-street hires, any English-speaking citizen with a high school diploma, despite the fact that most high school diplomas are fraudulent documents. All air traffic control applicants are required to complete the biographical questionnaire. Those who pass are deemed eligible. The questionnaire gives more points to an applicant who answers that he has not been employed in the previous 3 years than it does to an applicant who answers that he has been a pilot or is a veteran with an air traffic control related military background. Michael Pearson, an air traffic controller for 27 years who is suing the FAA, said, quote, a group within the FAA, including the human resources function within the FAA, the National Black Coalition of Federal Aviation Employees, determined that the workforce was too white. In an act of cowardice, a Republican-controlled Congress during Obama's second term cut a deal allowing the FAA to hire half of new controllers based on race. Led by its president, William Perry Pendley, the Mountain States Legal Foundation has brought a discrimination suit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia on behalf of Andrew Brigida against the U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao at the time under Trump, although when this suit began, Anthony Foxx was the Secretary of Transportation. When Chao became the Secretary, of course, she took over that position. Now it's Buttigieg. All Americans should hope that the Mountain Legal States Foundation suit is successful in preventing the FAA from using race and sex as criteria for hiring. Passengers' lives, regardless of sex and race, depend upon their being proficient air controllers. This lawsuit, the Mountain States Legal Foundation lawsuit against the FAA on behalf of Brigida, now has class action status, meaning there are 2,000 people who were qualified who were applying for these jobs that did not get a fair chance at them. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.